Okay, I'm not sure why I'm doing this. And it's 3 a.m. Monday morning, and I'm sitting in my garage, fucking frozen. Well, okay, so I started thinking about this after reading some Araki's short stories, and he was talking about like how we present ourselves to others. And so I started thinking like how that relates to my project, and like I should do this recording. But then the more I thought about it, the more it sort of loomed and became like unapproachable. I'm not sure what was stopping me. I think it was that it would be like so open and direct, and I would have nothing to grasp at, like trying to put out a fire with a straw. Like I even got Claude Debussy helping me in the background, but which I shouldn't really, but I'm going to. And I don't know if this audio is going to end up like anywhere. I'm not even sure who I should be addressing, but I suppose that's the point. Like I shouldn't feel this pressure to present, and because technically, you know, there's there's no one here. Like the only response is the vibration of the VU meter on this recorder, but I mean that little hand, it's not analysing me, it's not judging, it's just satisfied with the nonsense as long as it can live. So I suppose I should be able to do the same. But I mean, like, what's the difference? I've always used, like when I've needed to, people as conductors of light. I talk to them just to hear my words out loud, because like sometimes it creates like new connections, and you know, you wouldn't normally think about it if you're just enclosed in your own head. And I talk to myself sometimes, or constantly, like in my own mind. So I don't know what the difference is. Is it the potential that these thoughts might actually get heard? It's scary considering I can't think of anything to say. I guess I'll just start with my project, which is confabulation, and it's a knowledge problem. But I'm having a problem with this knowledge of confabulation, because the more I find out about it, like the more I find out about this condition, like the answers are just replaced into more questions, and eventually it starts verging onto this ideology of reality, and I don't know if I can handle getting into that just now. But confabulation is essentially truthful lying or honest lying. A person can talk like absolute bollocks, but like still believe it wholeheartedly. It's the truth in their own mind, to the extent where like paraplegics will make up stories to why they can't move their missing limbs, and it seems it's just completely bizarre to us, but they find these pathways to come up with a almost feasible reason to why they can't. And I mean, that's fucking mind-blowing if you think about it. I mean, scientists believe now that every single one of us confabulate every single day, and just to understand what's going on around us. And if that's true, then you're forced to start questioning everything. I mean, like, why the fuck do we have the death penalty if confabulation is so common? Then court testimonies have been proven not to be 100% reliable. I mean, like the Queen of Scots, she was executed, and the execution took place over 2 strikes. So the first swing didn't cut through her head, like through her neck completely. it took two. And the crowd of like 500 or 600, the majority of them didn't remember that because it was such a traumatic event that you had like this mass scale confabulation of where they just forgot the first swing of the axe and only remembered the second. And to think about that on such a large scale is just amazing. And I mean, it's been proven to exist, like Loftus and Palmer with their leading verbs and their leading question studies on car crashes. And then there was that recent one about the cards and the magician, where the magician had face cards all lined up, and he would ask an audience member to pick one that they find most attractive, but they didn't realise he was a magician, and he would switch the cards when they weren't looking, and then he would show it to the audience, the one that they supposedly picked, and they would confabulate a reason to why they thought that card was most attractive, even though that card wasn't the one they picked. So I mean, we must all then have a preconscious brain, like mechanism that distinguishes between current reality and fantasy, and the brain decides long before a thought becomes conscious. And I don't know, I don't know if that's something like I'm happy with. I mean, yeah, I have to deal with it, I guess, but just having this no control and no understanding, it's crazy. Which I suppose relates to how we, like the ant concept, like how we go through life as ants. I don't want to be just an ant in a routine, never really stopping and never really going, like ignoring passers-by. I want human experience to converse with absolute strangers and then leave without an exchange. But, you know, we live in fear and politeness and lawyers. So, but then, if human existence is the endless search for understanding, I mean, that was how language was invented, for understanding something other than, you know, the I. But then, how are you supposed to change it? I mean, it seems like such a big step almost, and just for a minority of an art college to do. I mean, like, creation has been formed out of destruction of its predecessor, and we want to transcend our isolation, find some common ground. But, like, words are inert. Experience isn't something we can discuss. It's completely intangible. I mean, like, if I start talking about love and you say you understand, bullshit, and rightly so. I start talking about love and I think about, you know, my experience through it, and in your mind you're going through your experience, or so that your loves or your lack of love, and to say you understand is a complete confabulation, and it's hard to move forward from that, I guess. I suppose for now the only answer I can give is just open your spectrum of awareness, ignore your contradictory impulses. We do live in a world of confabulation.